Welcome here to Beyond Meat Mondays, and today we are talking about a very bullish Beyond Meat and when would I buy the Beyond Meat stock. So all about it here in this vlog. Let's talk about the fourth section of today's vlog. First, I want to talk with you about the performance of Beyond Meat stock last week. We will talk about what was the down and upside of the stock, and then we will dive into a more technical analysis of the chart and where I would personally buy more Beyond Meat stock, where I think the stock is heavily undervalued. And we will talk about the growth of the artificial meat industry and the huge potential of this company. Then we will talk about the huge KFC and Pizza Hut China deal. So therefore I think we are ready, set and go to start this episode of Beyond Meat Monday. So the Beyond Meat stock is hovering somewhere around $128 per stock, and we started the week with 137-ish, and then Monday, Tuesday passed, and then we had the huge drop, guys, a drop of exactly about 10% from the closing of, or 11 or 12% of the closing of the day prior, without any big news, guys. And here you have the classical very volatile growth stock. Don't forget, this company is not huge. This company is just $8 billion heavy, and they having just tenths, not even a tenth of turnover against that. So this is a very volatile stock with huge potential, but also huge risk and huge volatility. So this is something you have to get used to if you're investing in Beyond Meat. However, since then we had a quite nice recovering for about 10%, and at least just the last day was 6% of this gain. So it stays quite interesting for the stock. I think there's a quite interesting entry point for Beyond Meat at a certain price. I bought back in February, as you might remember, when the stock was around 80-ish. It was end of February, beginning of March is when I bought into February. And since then we could grow a couple of percentage points with this stock, and I'm very happy, but I would love to own more of this stock because it just has so many potentials, and it's such an interesting product. It tastes absolutely insanely good, and therefore I believe there is a lot to come for this company. But let's dive into the technical analysis and more into the chart and technical factors of the stock. So welcome to the chart of Beyond Meat. As you know, on the long term, let's say the 6 months chart or the 1 year chart, you see the highest points here were at $234 in the July 2019 period. Since then, we pretty much lost a kind of significant amount, and then we came back towards the beginning of 2020. I started the position around end of February, and then the stock tanked together with the overall market. And what I want to show you today, guys, what I believe could be an interesting area to move along the Beyond Meat stock. Where would be a good point to enter and when would be a good point to exit. We want to talk about the good point to enter today. So I believe that if we are looking into the 3-month chart or the 1-month chart, you can see here that here are two separate lines. Here's the 200 moving average, the pink line, and then you have the green line, the 50 moving average, okay? And then you have the blue chart, which is actually the stocks itself. So as you can see here, the chart actually crossed the 50 moving average quite a couple of times. And here, when it crossed it on the 6th of January, then we have seen that the stock had the kind of outbreak, and same it went with when it crossed the 50 moving average, then it had a downturn as well, right? And same here back in April, again we crossed the 50 moving average, which gained the stock quite significantly up stake. So I believe that the 50 moving average is an interesting line to watch here in both ways. Therefore, I believe that, if the stock goes somewhere around this levels, between 100 and 75 is a quite interesting opportunity to buy and load on Beyond Meat stock. As you know, my overall long target is way over $1,000 for the stock. I think this will be one big player in the food industry, and therefore I believe and have hopes and quite convinced that this company can bring a huge interest of gains. And if you are looking into a more broader chart here, you see also that the stock always jungled around here on the 77 mark, and this is where I think could be a nice resistance as well. So it could go down and cross the 50 moving average and then be somewhere in this area between 100 and 75, and there would be an interesting area to buy. Moreover, you can see here the Williams indicator, which can show us that there are periods of oversold situations, and I have seen when this is approximately, a 20-day duration, usually the stocks start to pick up here. Same here, it went a couple of about 20 days downturn, and then when the 20 days finished, just like a very rough guideline, then the stock, somehow plateaued and then had an upside potential afterwards. So this is more maybe for the short-term investors, but it's interesting to mix opportunity, growth, value investing with some technical analysis to just understand, okay, what are the resistance in the charts? What are the interesting areas to buy in? What happened in the past in the stock? So you can have a sense also what are the algorithms behind the whole movements, and therefore I believe this is always interesting to watch into those. And currently you can see that we are somehow in some overbought territory here with this 135 stock price. We are currently at $128, and the 200 moving range is somewhere at around 108. So this will be also interesting to see if this can be a downturn. As you can see here, it hit the 200 moving average and then it went down, so it should be some kind of a resistance here at 120 levels, 125 levels. So when it break down lower than that, then I think it could go into the levels that we would actually like to see the stock to buy more. Nielsen, one of the biggest analytics and data companies out there, did a research on sales in April, and one of these categories was meat replacement or meat alternatives, and it shows that ending April of this year there was a 224% growth for this category, right? So this is like companies like Beyond Meat or other meat replacements that are there are just exploding in sale. Why this is important, guys? Because in the first earnings report we saw an incredible earnings revenue growth of 141% for Beyond Meat, which was absolutely fantastic. But the more concerning part of the report was they didn't want to make a guidance, because all of this uncertainty in Q2 is just so unpredictable, and therefore they said they don't want to have the guidance released. Now this is something that if a company doesn't know that it's good or better, then they rather say this currently. This is like a trend around companies, right? So therefore they did that, and I expect that we should see a drop in the Q2. But obviously with this kind of data, I'm really surprised that people are going more and more into the meat alternatives so fast. I wouldn't know about this kind of fast change. But then I remembered then not only growth companies and innovators are thriving through this crisis, but also it's a health crisis that's affecting the meat industry. Lots and lots of meat plants are getting affected by this health crisis, and therefore people might think, let's try this out. We heard about it, it's making good news, and let's try this Beyond Meat. And then when they try it, they might never go back because it's so tasty. I tried it by myself and I was totally blown away that artificial meat or plant-based meat can be so healthy. And obviously you have the huge sustainable factor that they are using 99% less water, 95% less land, and obviously it's so good for the environment compared to the regular meat. So in all, I think we are going faster into the translation of meat alternatives being a thing, a real thing for us, more and faster growing cycle, right? Especially in this uncertain timing with this health crisis. So I think this is a huge news that need to be brought into as a huge bullish sign. Beyond Meat further expand into China. Not only the operations, they want to have operations in China by end of the year fully established, but also the market is heavily growing. And now big news from China. They will offer Beyond Meat products in KFC as well as in Pizza Hut, in both big chains in China. There will be Beyond Meat products. This is insane, guys. This is very bullish because not only this is the biggest market for them in the future as well, Asia is a hugely big market that will be very potential for this new type of proteins over there. But moreover, we saw that the latest partnership with Starbucks in China was very successful as well. Therefore, I believe these are huge steps. There will be more informations in June, and apparently we are talking here brand new products, maybe some adjustments to how they look like or how they are placed on the pizza or how whatsoever. Maybe we will see a brand new product from Beyond Meat that will be specifically to the market. And Beyond Meat has one big opportunity here, which I think is one of the selling points for the stock, and this is the competition advantage of scalability. Now, as you can see, the markets are huge. There's new partners every single month almost that become clients of Beyond Meat. And even though this big corporation seems to, not be able to make their own meat, it seems that Beyond Meat is one of the first choices. Why? Because Beyond Meat put a lot of effort of scaling business. Now with the manufacturing and infrastructure in China, they want to achieve that they can tackle on the market with a lot of products as soon as possible, because they won already against Impossible Foods with the McDonald's deal. Impossible Foods couldn't make enough burgers to serve McDonald's, and therefore Beyond Meat just got the deal. And therefore I believe that this, not only because I think Beyond Meat has the better product, but also because they just are able to scale very fast, which will be one of the key points of the company to be successful.